Hello, and thank you for joining me for Scrappy Sunday. My name is Sharon Rogers, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wells, Maine in the United States. And every Sunday at 7 p.m., I have been bringing you a memory keeping project. Now, today is a continuation of the past 5 weeks. I am on project 6 of our month-by-month album retreat kit. So for those of you who are unaware, Stampin' Up! Held a virtual retreat a couple months ago, and the price of admission was the purchase of this kit. This kit allows you to put together 12 two-page spreads, one for each month, but you can title it any way you want. And that kit included 2 very large stamp sets, page protectors, twine or linen thread, and embellishments, and lots of die cuts, and all the cardstock and designer series paper cut to measurements for the projects themselves, and flip-flaps, and it just contained everything you needed. All you needed to supply were some inks and your favorite adhesive. That kit is still available, and you can look for it in my online store. The link to that store is in the description of this video. But what do you say we get started on project number 6, which I am doing June, because that is the 6th month and I'm not altering their directions at all. So let's get started. There's a lot of stamping involved, so hold on tight. Let's begin by bringing out our packet, and is the case with all of our other pages thus far, and I think probably all the way through. Our base is going to be this white willow. I'm going to move all these little pieces. I'll sort them by size, I think. Lots of little pieces here. This is a color blocking kind of page. Not just color, but patterns. But we're going to be creating some pockets, and that's what these are for. But everything on these pages emanates from a center line. So the first thing I'm going to do is find that center so it makes placement of everything a lot easier. I'll bring in my paper trimmer. We're only going to use the light gray blade, which is the scoring blade. I'm going to put this at 6 inches. And there I have a score line. I don't know if you can see it. It will not be noticeable when your page is put together, but it's going to aid in putting it together greatly. And there I have the other one. While we're here, we can also get out our June title, and it comes in 2 pieces. It comes in a J and an Un. Take that out. So there's my J, and here's my Un. Okay, we can put that back. Got my photo placeholders here as well. I could grab those so that I can have an idea. It says I'm going to need 4 3x4 inch photos. So I'll get out my 3x4s. I need 1. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, and I need 12 3x3s. 1, 2, 3. Have them all mixed up here, I guess. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's what we're going to put a lot of stuff on our page. All right, so I can put this away. I'm just going to set these off to the side. Another thing I'm going to do is make my pockets. So all of these are the same. They are 2 3/4 by 3. I'm going to find the smaller side, and I'm going to mark 1/2 inch in from each end. And then I'm going to mark 1/2 inch up from each side. Now, once you do one, you'll be good on the rest. Get my snips out, and I'm just going to now connect those. And then to do the rest, I'm going to stack a couple. I think I can do a couple at a time. I'll line up the tops and sides here. Hold pretty tightly. And just cut using that first one as a guide. We'll repeat it, and we'll be good. Now, if you still see some pencil mark on your top one, which I do, you can flip it over because it's the same. You've measured the same. So our pockets are done. All right, for our first pocket, we're going to do this one right here. We're going to stamp directly on the pocket, and you can see that from these directions. So we're going to stamp the plus sign border, which is this one right here that we've used quite a bit. Get that one out. We're also going to stamp an oval, and the oval is, well, I should have, let me get the paint splatter out. I know that I need the paint splatter from this one. So we'll find the paint splatter, which is right here. And I'm going to need the word happy, which is in this one as well. And then we're going to need an oval, and oval is in the other stamp set right here. So we'll get that one out. And 3 out of 4 of these get stamped in Darling Duckling, and the word happy gets stamped in black, in the tuxedo black. So let's get our piece out. We want this angled part here, that's the bottom. We'll get out our pieces here. We're going to stamp the plus sign right along the bottom first. Hope I get that straight. Yeah, good. That goes on the bottom. And then we've got our oval that goes just a bit above it. So maybe right about, and I'm going to try to line this up, see if I can get it somewhat straight. That's going to go there. And then we've got our splatter. I'm going to put a little splatter up here. And then we're going to put a little splatter down here. And then we're going to put a little happy right inside. That looks really juicy. I pressed down pretty hard on that one, so I'm going to clean my stamp, get some of that ink that shouldn't be in the crevices out. And let's try inking this again, not pressing so hard. And there we go. And that is one pocket finished. For our second pocket, we're going to take the Lost Lagoon pad and the raindrops. If I look here, here are my raindrops. We've used those on another month's project. Take the smallest stamp, and then we're going to fill up our second pocket with this. So the bottom, again, is the part that has the angles on it. And I'm going to go slowly so that I don't rock my stamp and get ink where I don't want it. I'll pay attention. If I try to stamp somewhat in the center, Then I can just re-ink and kind of go on the diagonal. This is going to help me get things fairly uniform, or at least uniform enough. And then you can kind of move over here, and it's like I'm filling in between. Ooh, I can see that I have some Lost Lagoon where I don't want it on my block. I'm going to stamp this little guy just a little bit more because I didn't stamp him fully before. And if you don't like how your pattern comes out, you know what? You can also flip it over. Let me show you. See how much I've got on there? I need to get that off. Center. I'm going to go up on a diagonal. I'm going to go on the other diagonal. And then I'm going to fill in. There we go. And that is pocket number 2. For our third pocket, we're going to bring back in that plus size border again, which was this one. And then we're also going to bring in this large starburst. And these are both going to be stamped in Darling Duckling. That just makes it. All right. And we're also going to be doing a blending technique. So I'm going to get out one of my blending brushes, and I'm going to pick up some ink, go off to the side because I don't want this to be really dark, but I'm going to add some Darling Duckling just to the upper corner here. This is where that burst is going. It's like this, a little bit of sunshine. So I'm just going to add some up there. I'll stamp my sunburst up there. And we want to make sure that comes down a little bit, but it goes off the page a little bit as well. And then this will go right along the bottom, just as it did on the first one that we did. There we go. You know what? I think that this could use a little bit extra right here to make it look like it's continuous. There we go. And I think that might have been the case over here too. I'm going to go back to my first one. There we go. All right, so number 3 is done. For number 4, we're going to bring in the burst cluster. And remember, in your instruction sheet on page 2, they've named all the stamps. So the burst cluster looks like these little asterisks. It's a whole group of asterisks. So let's see, that's going to be on this page, and it's going to be right up here, this little one right here. So we'll take a little stamp. We're going to take our pocket. We're going to bring back our Lost Lagoon. We're going to do a little blending again. I'm going to pick up some of the ink, get off that little bit there, and we're going to just add some ink in here into the center. There's going to be a banner that goes over this. So we're really just adding something to help that banner stand off a little bit. And then we're going to take our cluster, and our banner is going to go right along here, so about the halfway point. So we're just going to stamp our clusters maybe up here on either side, just like that. All right. And that is number 4. For our last pocket, we're going to bring in our Darling Duckling ink again. We are going to do a little bit of ink blending, and we're going to use the paint splatter that we used on the first one. Let me get some of this just so we can do the blending first. And it's going to be right around here, just a little bit below center. Just going to put that in there. There's going to be a stamped die cut that goes over this, so we're just adding a little bit of ink to extend beyond its edges, again, just to help it pop off the page a little bit. We're going to take the paint splatters, and if you print out if you purchase the kit and you print out the directions, you're going to see that it looks like they actually used the Starburst cluster, the burst cluster here, and the paint splatter up there, but the directions definitely call for something different. So it doesn't matter. It's just decoration. So you can do whatever you want. I've also found that it looks to me like this was blended in Misty Moonlight, but the directions clearly say Lost Lagoon. Now it's all going to coordinate because we've got greens and blues in here, and Lost Lagoon is a perfect mix of both. We are going to put Misty Moonlight in a couple of other places, so not to fear, we'll use both colors. But that is our 5th and final pocket. That's how we've prepped those 5 pieces. Now we need to bring in some other elements. Namely, we will need 4 large flowers. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's what we will be stamping on. But before we put our flower on there in black ink, we're going to apply a little bit of color to the centers of them. So again, take that first little bit off, and then you're just going to add a little bit of yellow to the center. And it doesn't have to be perfectly in the center. You're just gonna put it in there. All right, that's good. Now we can stamp the flower with our Memento ink. We'll get the flower itself out. If you recall, I have a hard time with this, so I'm going to take the time right now, and these 3 pieces are fluffier, what I would call fluffier, so I'm going to put the non-fluffy parts down. I'm going to make them all oriented the same on my grid sheet right here. And then I can see that there's an area of this flower that is not quite as fluffy. So that's good. That's going to go down there, and I can actually line up my stamp right there. I'm going to pick this up. Okay, so I can see that this is how I want it. I've got the right orientation. I'm going to make sure all of these are going exactly the same. I'll stamp my flower there. I hope my head won't get in the way, but if it does, it's because I'm trying to be pretty straight. A little bit hard working around the camera. Oh, that's not bad. go. Let's see here. There we go. And we have our 4 large flowers done. Now we're going to take Misty Moonlight and we're going to bring in the small flowers, and we need 3 small flowers. So this 3 small flowers is 1, 2, and these are much easier to stamp, 3. And we will be adding some color, but Misty Moonlight this time. And rather than take another blending brush and get that all inked up, I'm just going to rub all this off, as much off as I can get. And then it's ready to switch to Misty Moonlight. So we'll just add some color to this one. There we go. A little bit harder here to get your fingers out of the way. Another thing you can do is you can keep it on this sheet and blend away, or you could use a little glue dot or something on the back here and help hold it down. But I thought my finger worked just fine. So now we need to stamp these. We'll get our little flower out. It's right here in the corner. Okay, and just having it inked actually helps me find where I'm supposed to stamp. Because it's coming off of my grid sheet, I can see the contrast, helps me find where I need to place my stamps a little bit better. The other thing you could do is put it over here on the gray area. Let me see if I'm in the, okay, you can see it. It sets itself off a little bit more that way as well. There we go. We've got 3 blue Misty Moonlight flowers. And we're going to set those aside. Now we need to bring in 4 cloud pieces, and they have kind of fallen out a bit here. So let's see if we can find them. I might have to take this out a little bit to see where they all are. So here's 1 and 2. 3, and let's see, there's got to be a 4th one in here somewhere. Got some rainbows. I don't want a rainbow. I might be getting to the point where I just have to dump everything out so I can find what I need. Whoop, there it is. There's my 4th cloud. It might be the last cloud I use. I don't think there are any other clouds in here. Let's put this back so we don't lose any of these pieces. You know what? I know I'm going to need one of these pieces because that's what goes on one of those pockets. I tried to describe that a little bit earlier to you. So what we're going to do is we need to use the blending brush technique. And we're going to bring back in our Lost Lagoon. And we're going to blend some ink on those clouds. And again, let's clear off our brush a little bit, so we can go back to Lost Lagoon. And I'm really only going to blend it on my finger because I just put my thumb in there. I'm going to blend on the bottom of the cloud. Just pretty lightly. It's not a lot. But that's where the clouds tend to hold their... I need to make sure that my cloud's going in the right way though. I don't remember which way is I'm stamping it. So let's see, the cloud is right here. So when I put this on my stamp, I need one a little bit larger. Let's do this. Okay. Let's see if I press a little harder, I guess. If I do this, yep, this is the way it goes. Okay. So I've got it correct. So it's that single little one that pops out, that edge, that goes over to the left. And your small pieces are on the right. So I had to flip that one over. So we're good there. Again, just add some to the bottom. Okay. Maybe a little higher up on a couple of these. Okay. And then we're going to stamp the cloud itself in Misty Moonlight. So I told you we'd be mixing some, we'd have both of them. All right, so get this lined up. Okay, there's one cloud. There's another cloud. Number 3. And number 4. There are 4 clouds. Now we're going to work on a seal, and a seal is this little thing right here. It's got like a little scallop, tiny little scallop edges. And we're going to stamp the seal on that piece. So let's see, we'll find our little seal here. I think it might be the other set. Let's get that other stamp set out. Whatever we did with it. There we go. So this piece right here, that's going to get stamped in soft seafoam. We'll put this right here, and we'll bring in soft seafoam. And we'll stamp that right on there. If you don't get this one exactly the way you like it, you can always flip it over. That's pretty dark. I wonder if I should just, you know what, it will lighten up though. Let's see when I restamp. Oh, it's too light if I restamp it, so I'll just ink it like this, and we'll hope for the best. All right, hopefully that's a little bit there. That's a little bit more centered. I got a little bit of uninked part here. Well, we will make that look like it's maybe a bubble, and that's where the light is hitting it. Nobody has to know that it's just because the ink didn't grab right there. Doesn't matter. What matters most is that we put the word "what matters most," or the phrase "what matters most" right on top of that in Tuxedo Black. Let's mount this. And Tuxedo Black is right here. And I'm just going to stamp that right here. What matters most? Our next element is to stamp 6 lacy leaves. Lacy leaves are on this one with the seal. The lacy leaves are this one. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to, there's a lacy leaf stamp. This is the lacy leaf right here. So if I look at the lacy leaf, that is this one right here. And I'm just going to check to make sure that I've got that right. Yes, that fits right on top of there. So I know that this is the right one. So I'm going to get these all in the same orientation. Because I may have flipped some of them over as I was grabbing them. There we go. So they're kind of curving to the right when I've got them set up. We're going to stamp that in Garden Green. Now this is the first time that I've used this particular stamp. So I'm gonna stamp and kind of rub at the same time. I'm gonna make sure I get ink off my block. And then we're gonna ink it up. Boy, my Garden Green pad is juicy. And again, I can't see very well on the white grid sheet. So I'm going to go over here to this grayer area and stamp. There, much better. Oop, that one was a little bit off, I think. Oh, not bad though. So we want 6 of these. That one was a little off. So if one is a little bit more off than you really would like it to be, you can always come in with a pair of paper snips and just, oop, it's a warm night out and people are racing down my street. Can you hear that in the background? I'm just going to cut around that. And now it's got a nice tighter fit. So we've got those 6 leaves. 6 lacy leaves. Now, do you remember that banner that we popped out while we were in there? We're going to be using that next, and the banner is going to get stamped in Misty Moonlight. And then we're going to do Celebrate in the middle. Now, if you are doing this and you don't know that it's going to be Celebrate, you might want to hold off on the word. But June happens to be my husband's birth month. So I imagine we will be celebrating. And it's also Father's Day. So we will be celebrating him. Let's see, make sure we get this going the right direction. Yep, here we go. Again, I'm going to kind of come over here. So we will definitely be celebrating in June. We always do. That looks pretty good. Not perfect, but not bad. I wonder if it can, no, you can't do it the other way. Nope. So that's going to be good enough. And then we need Celebrate. And the word Celebrate is in the month by month stamp set. So let's find Celebrate. And it's easier if I come over here. All right. And we'll get Celebrate going here. And we'll put that right in the center. And this is another case where, you know what? It's a little bit wide down here, so I can come in and doctor it up a little bit. That'll make me feel a little bit better. I just have to do it on the other section too. Here. That's good. So now we have our banner. Okay, we have a few more things to stamp. Actually, quite a few. There's a lot of stamping in this particular month's project. We're going to stamp they call it a scalloped half circle. Looks like a rainbow right here. I'm going to stamp that in Misty Moonlight on the die cut that looks like a scalloped or like a rainbow. So that's that one. And then we are going to stamp the large burst in Darling Duckling on the large burst piece that's in here, which is this piece right here. And then we're going to stamp the little birdie on a little birdie piece. So here's another little birdie right over here. So there's the birdie. And then we're going to stamp the large plus sign heart, or the plus sign heart, with the open heart, and that's a little one. And because I saw on the sample right here, I just mounted them on the same stamp. So we can do all that at once. All right, so let's do a little bit of stamping here. So we're going to stamp the half circle in Misty Moonlight on this piece right here. This is one of those that's got some symmetry involved. So if you don't like how you stamp it the first time, you get another shot. I'm going to try not to get my head in the way here. All right, let me just try it one more. I'm a little high on that one. So let's just try coming down a little bit more. See if I like it better. Yeah, I like it better, I guess. So we'll keep that one. And then we're going to stamp the large burst in Darling Duckling ink. So I need to see if I can get this lined up. So we've got a 1 and then 2 little ones here. That's going to go like that, I think. No, maybe it's upside down. No. Let's see here. This looks like, gonna just turn it until we find the right one here. I think that's the right side. So let's see. I'm gonna just pick it up and see if I can find exactly where it goes. I'm just gonna turn it until it seems right. So far, not finding it. Well, let's try the other side. Oop, I might have found it. I found it, right like that. So now I'm just gonna bring this in and stamp this. I'm gonna have to definitely get my head in the shot here, I think. I'll just move it more towards me, hopefully not off the camera completely. Let's see, how did I do? Not bad. All right, and while we're here, we're going to stamp the little bird. He's a whole lot easier to line up. Put him over here so I can see the outline. There we go. There's my little birdie. And then we're going to stamp the plus sign heart and open heart in Lost Lagoon ink onto the Fresh Freesia cut cardstock. And it's the light Fresh Freesia that we're going to do. And this looks like it's a square, so it's not going to matter exactly how it's oriented. But what we're going to do is just stamp these two pieces right up here at the top. There we go. If you want it a little bit more centered, you could do that, but it's not, it doesn't really matter. All right. Let's get set up for the next batch of stamping. All right, so the next thing we need to do is take our light Darling Duckling little square piece that we have. It did say light in the directions, and we're going to stamp happy in tuxedo black. We'll get happy out again. It's right on the edge. I remember where that is. And we're going to stamp it just kind of haphazardly. Happy, haphazardly. 3 times. There we go. And then it says to stamp in review on the dark, well, it doesn't say dark, which means we do use dark, soft seafoam. It says in review right here, but I don't want in review because I don't think that really goes, I mean, we're not really reviewing, I don't know, a whole lot, just we're celebrating more than doing anything else. So instead of doing that, I'm going to take the alphabet and I'm going to write Dad because that's who we're celebrating. So I'm going to write D-A-D. Now I can't really write D-A-D because I don't have 2 D's. So I can write D-A and then I can bring in another, and I can remove the A and just do the D. So they did it 3 times, but I'm not going to do it 3 times. I'm just going to do it once, and I'm going to do it, I'm just going to do it kind of straight across here. Here's D-A. I'm going to clean it, remove the A, and then stamp another D. And it's a little haphazard there, which is great because it kind of matches the happy that we had going on. And then finally, we need to stamp the heart border down one side of the Misty Moonlight. And the heart border is right here. Let me go ahead and put this D away. I'm going to replace this with the heart border. We're going to stamp that in Misty Moonlight down the side of one of the Misty Moonlight pieces. And I don't know if it says, it doesn't say, it says on one Misty Moonlight cardstock piece, which means we're going to stamp it on the dark. But you could do it on the light if you wanted to. It's really up to you, but we're just going to stamp right along the side. I love how easy it is to get this to repeat. There we go. And the only thing we haven't done yet is to add photos to 4 3x3 flip-flaps. All right, for those wondering what a flip-flap is, these are flip-flaps. So they're little envelopes with some adhesive on one side. This is going to allow us to flip a picture up and see something hidden underneath it. You can see in the directions here, this person is flipping this little layer up. So it's a great way to be able to add more pictures to what's going on in the page. Now, I can't add my photos to these because I don't have the photos yet. I won't have them for almost an entire year. All right, it's time to assemble now. Here is my base page, and here's that score line. So that's like this, Sarah in the video is calling it the horizon. That'll help us to know where things are going. I'm going to use my sample page here from the instructions to kind of organize where things go. So I know I'm going to need this piece down here. So these are 1.5 inches wide, I believe. Let me just measure for, yep, 1.5 inches wide. And then I need the hexagon one that's going to go right next to it. And then up on the top, we're going to need the roses one and the grid. And that's going to go right here. And then I can see I'll need the polka dot one. And my stamped heart Misty Moonlight piece. And then we're going to bring in this beautiful piece up here, and the fresh freesia that goes right here and right here. Okay, there are photos that actually don't get mats here. There's going to be a photo that goes right here. That's going to be a 3x4, and so we can put those pieces, our photo placeholders here, and that will help us make sure that this is aligned pretty well. And then we have a 3x3 that's going to go here, and another 3x3 that goes right up here, and a 3x4 that's coming down here at the bottom. So even though I can't put my photos on right now, I can really get things set up pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere the DSP pieces. Here we go. And see which way I think is right side up. I don't know that it really matters on this particular one. So there we go. There's that. And I can do the entire bottom if I want to. So I can see that my score line is right here. It's right at the top here. And so this next 3x3 piece, remember this is just a photo placeholder. So I'm going to just take a couple of glue dots. If you use one, it's hard to keep it straight. Just take a little sticky off. That's again going to go right up to the score line here. And then I'm going to have this piece. I'm just kind of doing the bottom first. Again, right up to the score line. Okay. And another DSP, photo placeholder. That goes right to the edge, which is where it should be going. Now we'll do the top. Same kind of process. It's going to go right there. now I'm seeing I'm a little bit off here, which means that this piece is crooked. I probably should have started on the other side. Now, this is coming up kind of hard. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the back of it with a heat gun. And I think that's going to help me lift this. I'm going to go on the low setting so I don't burn myself. And we'll just encourage it a little bit to come up at a time. Not rushing it too much. It does get hot, so you just want to be a little careful. There we go. You can see it's a little rough underneath there, but it doesn't matter because that's going to be covered up. I'm going to apply a little bit more adhesive to this back and straighten out. All right. And yeah, that makes more sense. Okay. So there's the base of the card done. Okay, we have our little flip flaps, and this is the first time I've ever used a flip flap. Hopefully I do it correctly. So there's one side that peels and that gets stuck to your page. Now I'm going to, I want my photo, you can see the stitching, so you can see where the photo is going to go. That's going to help me place my flip flap. I'm going to place it underneath this photo placeholder. Just very carefully kind of come in here, and I can almost see where I want, if I align it with my placeholder here, I can see where I want to put this. I mean, you might even want to put your photo placeholder in the pocket. The pocket is going to extend above a little bit. You're going to be able to put a photo here that shows here, one that shows here, and one that shows here. If you didn't want to do 3 photos, you could certainly journal on one of these hidden pieces as well. There is a lot of journaling space though on here, so you may not want to do that. There's going to be a photo that kind of sneaks under here as well. We're not going to do that, but that is our little flip flap that is right there. There's going to be another flip flap right up here. And so we're going to do that a similar way. We're going to just take this off. And it folds very nicely where it's supposed to fold. And we're going to slip this over. And I'm just trying to line it up, get it kind of centered here. I'm just using that little photo placeholder to make that work, I think. There we go. I think that's pretty good. If it's not perfect, it's fine. But we've got these 2 little flip flaps. And then we have some other things that we can do. We're going to take our little pockets that we created. Let's see, where'd my pockets go? Well, we've got a whole bunch of things that we're going to do. We're going to use some of these things, but we've also got our pockets. And so the pockets that I needed on the left-hand side were the one that said happy. So that pocket's going to go over here. And we're going to need 2 flowers, 2 of the large flowers, and 1 of the small ones. And then we're going to use the raindrop pocket up here. And then this little piece up here as well. And we're going to have a little rainbowy piece and a little flower piece. And that's going to go up there. We need a couple clouds. And the starburst or the sunburst. The clouds are going to go, oops, I only need a couple, Sharon. So here's a hint. Use the ones you like the best in the front. So that's going to go there. And my June is going to go here as well. So my June kind of comes like this. My J's in the middle here. And we just kind of tuck this behind the J. This stays on the yellow. So this is what it's gonna look like. So let's just adhere everything where it goes. These pockets, I can tuck something in them. And oh, we need some leaves too. We're gonna need 3 leaves over here. All right. Let's work on the pockets. Okay, for my pocket, I'm gonna put dimensionals just along the bottom, just around the edges, because I am going to be tucking some things. I'm going to be tucking some flowers. And this this flip flap, it happens to, it cheats over into this green area here. So I'm going to make sure that it's not quite centered. It's just to the left a little bit so that this doesn't interfere. Okay, so I can pick this up and it's not in the way. And then we'll adhere some of these flowers. So I'm going to take one and we'll tuck that right down in here. We'll arrange it however we want. And I think I can do let's go ahead and do a leaf at the same time. Kind of pop that up like that. And then we're going to put this up on dimensionals. But we're tucking it, but we're putting it up on dimensionals. Well, we're not. I mean, we're sort of tucking it. I want to leave some room for my leaves. So, I mean, this is going to come up in here like this. So it just barely kind of comes over the top. Again, you want to make sure that it's not going to interfere here with your flip flap. We'll adhere our leaves. Got one there. And one a little bit more at an angle. Again, don't want it to interfere with my little flip flap though. And then I need a little blue one. That's going to be up on a dimensional. That's going to be up on the pocket itself. Just like that. I think I want to turn it around a little bit. Have that looks more like a bottom. There we go. So there's one pocket. And then up here for our other pocket, we're going to do the same thing. I think my camera is about to die, about to lose battery. So hopefully I can get this done in time. I'm on a roll. I don't want to have to wait until this thing charges again. Cat hair is going to make it into the album on the back side. Unless I can take it off, which I can't. Never mind. All right. So that's going to go right up here, maybe about 1/2 inch up. I want to make sure it doesn't interfere with my flip flap. So again, it's a little bit off to the center. And then we're going to adhere my rainbow. Which side did I like better? I think I like this side better. So I'm going to put my pieces here. And this is I'm gonna figure out where that goes in relation to this. So if I have this kind of tucked in, now it doesn't want to go. My dimensionals are a little bit too tight, so I'm going to cheat a little bit here. If I cut these corners off, I can slide this down a little bit further, and nobody knows. Isn't that a great little tip? I'm going to adhere this one down just with regular adhesive. Let's put it on a little bit of an angle here. That. And then we're going to put a third dimensional up here just to keep it balanced. And we'll put that right here. There we go. Probably that one barely caught the edge there, so that's good. And then we're going to adhere this right here. And if you go ahead and put your dimensional right here, then look, you can stick that right there. And our left side is done, except, oh, wait, I forgot. We have all this stuff to do. I'm going to have to go charge my camera. All right, let's put our sunburst on here. And let's see, we want this probably something like this. And then we want to put a couple of clouds on. And this one will go like right here, I guess. And then this one will go on top of that other one. And now we'll put on our J and our Un. Okay. That's going to go right about here. It's a little thick. Let's see. That looks good right there. Now we need to just add a couple of these natural matte dots. Put one right about here. And then put a smaller one right over here. And that's it. We'll just have to put our photos in where they belong. And again, you can put in up to 3 photos here, 1, 2, and 3, or you could do some sort of combination with photos and journaling as well. That is our left side. It's the same process for our right side. So we'll just lay things out and start gluing things down. I'm going to fast forward for this since you've seen me do it on the previous page. now we are ready for our flip flaps, and we're going to do a double one on this side. So in case you're wondering, here is how the presenter, Sarah Douglas, had mentioned she uses hers. So the pocket is on the front here, and she folds over the sticky part. You don't want it, obviously, the sticky part to stick to the flip flap itself. So you're going to fold it back, and this is the area that gets stuck down. Now, what you can do here is you can nest them. And when you nest them, one will be slightly higher than the other. And that's just, because these are the same size, but they're nested. So that's how you can adhere them. So I'm just going to take the backing off this first one. Oops, I got that one folded wrong. Here we go. Let's see. I just want to make sure I'm taking, okay. I'm going to just put this one inside the other fold, kind of lining them up. There we go. And then we can, oh, don't tell me I did it wrong. I don't think so. No, I didn't. Okay, here's the other flap here. And that one is going to go right here. So we're going to lift this up and put this down. Actually, I'm gonna lift it up quite a bit. I'm centering it on this little flip flap. It's a little, maybe it's easier just to do this. Put my little flip flap there. I'm gonna fold it over. It is a little difficult to fold it over when it's double because these guys are slippery. Oh, you know what? I don't want it to stick to this. I want it to stick here. So what I'm going to do is something that's it sticks above. So what we'll have here is, and again, this can just go in one of the page protectors if we wanted to. We would slide our photo in, and now you can see that that's lined up. And then we'll have another one on top. This isn't all the way in. You get the picture. So when I slide this one all the way in, it's a little bit below the top here, but that top one is going to be a little bit above. Again, that nesting effect. So let's go ahead and take this out. I'm going to put this in the top one. Get that little glue dot off. And so our flip flaps are done on that page. Now we need to do our pockets. Same process as before. You know what? I put, oh no, this is right. I forgot to put my, what did I do here? Oh, this one goes over here. This one goes over here. I've got a third pocket somewhere. I thought I was messing up a little bit. We want to make sure that this doesn't interfere with my flip-flop. But it's not really going to anyways, because my flip-flops are going to be on the outside. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to center that a little bit more. All right. We want our what matters most. Put that up on a dimensional. That's going to go right here, a little bit to the bottom. Okay. We're going to take our flowers. We're going to attach them. And we can attach them right over the pocket. So if you take your dimensionals and put them on just the top sides, or even just in the middle. Okay, so we're going to have this, and then we'll put this one over that. A little bit higher maybe. It's okay to come over here. It's not attached to the photo, so the photo will be able to slide right underneath that. Bring in our leaves. So one will go there. And one will go off this way. And the other will go off the other way a little bit, but overlapping. Here we go. And then we're going to take our, and I don't think he needs a dimensional. We're just going to put him right over the top here, just like that. And while I'm at this pocket, I'm going to decorate it with the dots since I have them out. So we're going to put a dot here and a smaller dot there, kind of mirroring what's on the other page. There we go. So that pocket is done. Now we need, here's our other pocket, by the way. That's the one I thought I was starting with. All right. Okay. And we'll put this one about the same height, maybe a little bit lower than the other one. I think I'm going to do about the same height. There we go. We'll bring in our clouds. And I definitely like this cloud first better, so this one will be on the left. I'm going to trim around this a little bit. It's a little too wide for me. Some of it gets covered up. All right, so we're going to attach this to the top of the pocket. Just like that. And then this one goes over that. Just like this. And then we'll fix our little birdie with a dimensional. Put him right on the ground here. Here we go. And where's our happy, happy, happy? That kind of goes in the pocket. And it's a little bit wide, so if you angle it, then it just looks like it's coming out of the pocket, which is kind of what you want it to look like. Here we go. Happy, happy, happy. And then our remaining pocket, that's going to go up here. So our remaining pocket goes right up here. All right, we need to bring in our Celebrate, and that's going to get put up on dimensionals. And that's going to go right across the top right here. Again, it is extending over into the photos, but it's not attached to the photos placeholders, so we'll be able to slide those photos in, no problem. And then I'm going to put in my little dad up here. And I don't need it quite so tall. I'm going to make it look like a little pocket so it can fit in the pocket a little bit better. But there we go. There we have Dad. There we go. Now all we have left to do is put these in page protectors and deal with how a page protector and a flip flap can live in harmony. All right, I have just a piece of chipboard. I need to bring in, and I'm starting with my right side for two reasons. One is I've got my right side out already. And the other reason is because I want to make sure this works okay. I'm going to do my other one. My other one, remember, is already in, my left side one has the back of May already in it. So I'd rather not mess with that right now if I don't have to. All right, so, whoops, we got this little piece in there. All right, so now my page is fully in my page protector. What I'm going to do is take a pencil and I'm going to mark the corner of my page protector. Just these little corners right here. And I'm just going to cut a slit. Now, because this is a double one, what you could do is, all right, I don't know where I was, but my alarm went off, so I had to stop. So there are two little marks that I can see right here and right here. And I'm going to connect those with a straight edge, in this case, my ruler, and just take my snips and cut the line that connects them. Now you can make this a little bit wider because this is the double flip flap. What you could do, because it needs to accommodate a little bit of a thicker piece, is you can cut this. Notice I've got my chipboard inside to protect the other side. And then you could slide it over just ever so slightly, almost like making a little piggy bank slot. Let's see if I've cut through there. I have. And then just join the ends of those. So you actually will end up lifting it. I might have to take it out to do that. Let's see. Or you can just cut it. There we go. Okay, so if I bring this out and bring my page 2 back in, my right page, I mean, I'm going to slip this in, just being careful that you're not catching anything along the way. And as this comes down, you're going to feed that, the flip flaps, both of them, through here. And then it just pulls all the way down. And now you can see you've got working flip flaps and everything's protected. Let's do the other page. All right, here is the right-hand page of my May spread. I'm going to be working on the back here. Let's take our left-hand page of our June spread. And carefully put it in here. All the way down, make sure it goes all the way down. And we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to mark the top corners here of our flip flaps. So there's the top corner of this lower one, and here's the top corner of our upper one. Okay, we'll remove this, and you could remove both pages if you wanted to. I don't think it's necessary. Again, I'm going to bring in my chipboard or, very thin cutting mat, whatever you have, and I'm going to connect the dots. So I can see there's a dot here and a dot here. I don't know if you can see it with maybe a reflection. A metal-edged ruler would be a better option here. I'm going to go up just a little bit. And a metal-edged ruler with a cork backing would be even better. So there's one. And let's see if I can find my other. My other 2 points are right here and right here. I connect those. All right. And now let's slip our June spread in here carefully. And don't ever force it in, because if it seems stuck, it's because it is stuck. So that means that something that's going in is catching on the top lip generally. So now what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm feeding this flip flap through this slit as I come down. And oops, this one needs to go through this one as well. And then I can just finish feeding it. And there we have our flip flaps in our protected page. And there we go. I did not lie, did I? There was a lot of stamping involved. But you know what? I'm a stamper at heart, and whether it's on cards or scrapbook pages, doesn't matter. I just enjoy stamping. And with those wonderful stamp sets, I'll be able to use those in other projects, not just in this album. Now join me on Tuesday, because I have Technique Tuesday coming up right here on my YouTube channel at 7 p.m. If you have not liked and subscribed to my YouTube page yet, I would appreciate it if you did so. Doing that and ringing that little notification bell will let you know, because YouTube will remind you when I go live next. So that'll help you not miss Technique Tuesday. And we're going to be focusing on Tuesday on ribbon and how to add that to your projects. Most specifically cards, but of course it can translate to scrapbooks as well. I'm going to be showing you some different methods of tying and using that ribbon as embellishments. So I hope you will join me. And then on Thursday during Lunchtime Look, which is at noon Eastern Time on Thursday, you will see how I've taken an idea that I gleaned from today's 2-page spread and I bring it to life on a card. I hope you will join me for a little creative break in your day on Thursday. Have a great week ahead, everyone. I hope September is going well and that you get some Stampin' Time in.